everyone, we're back with a new video, and for this video we're going to summarize this given chapter, which is the chapter 7. So let's start the IP addressing. Addressing is a critical function of network layer protocols. Addressing enables data communication between hosts, regardless of where the hosts are on the same network or on the different networks. IPv4 addresses. Binary is a numbering system that consists of the numbers 0 and 1 called bits. In contrast, the decimal numbering system consists of 10 digits consisting of the numbers 0 to 9. Network and host portions. Understanding binary notation is important when determining if two hosts are in the same network. Recall that an IPv4 address is an hierarchical address that is made up of a network portion and the host portion. The subnet mask. So, three-dotted decimal IPv4 addresses must be configured when assigning in IPv4 configuration host. The IPv4 address, the subnet mask, and the default gateway. The prefix length. Expressing network addresses and host addresses with the dotted decimal subnet mask address can become cumbersome, or fortunately there is an alternate shorthand method or of identifying a subnet mask called the prefix length. IPv4 communication. A host successfully connected to a network can communicate with other devices in one of three ways: the unicast, broadcast, and the multicast. The unicast is the process of sending packet from one host to an individual host. Broadcast is the process of sending a packet from one host to all hosts in the network, while multicast, on the other hand, is the one that process of sending a packet from the host to a selected group of messages, a selected group of hosts, possibly in different networks. Unicast transmission. Unicast communication is used for a normal host-to-host communication in both client-server and the peer-to-peer network. Unicast packets uses the addresses of the destination device as the destination address and can be routed through the inter-network. Broadcast transmission. Broadcast traffic is used to send packets to all or hosts in the network using the broadcast addresses for the network. With a broadcast, the packet contains the destination IPv4 address with all ones in the host portions. So this means that all hosts on the local network will receive and look at the packet. Multicast transmission. Multicast transmission reduces traffic by allowing a host to send single packet to a selected set of hosts that subscribe to a multicast group. Special user IPv4 addresses. There are certain addresses such as the network address and broadcast addresses that cannot be assigned to host. There are also special addresses that can be assigned to host, but with the restrictions on how those hosts can interact within the network. The classless addressing. So the class full system allocated 50% of the available IPv4 addresses to 128 Class A networks, 25% of the address to Class B, then Class C shared remaining 25 with the Class D and E. So classful addressing was abandoned in the late 1990s for the newer and current classless addressing system. However, there are still classful remnants in the need for IPv6. IPv6 is designed to be the successor to IPv4 because the IPv6 has a larger 128-bit address space providing for 340 undecillion addresses. IPv6 address representation. IPv6 addresses are 128 bits in length and written as string hexadecimal values. Every 4 bits is represented by a single hexadecimal digit for a total of 32 hexadecimal values. The IPv6 types. There are three types of IPv6 addresses: the unicast, multicast, and the anycast. So unicast and IPv6 address uniquely identifies an interface of an IPv6 enabled device. Multicast is an IPv6 multicast address is used to send a single IPv6 packet to multiple destinations. Anycast, an IPv6 anycast address is any IPv6 unicast address can be assigned to multiple devices. A packet sent into anycast address is routed to the nearest device having that address. IPv6 prefix length. Recall that the prefix of network portion of an IPv4 address can be identified by a dotted decimal subnet mask or prefix length slash notation. So for example, an IPv4 address of 192.168.1.10 with dotted decimal subnet mask of 255.255.255.0 is equivalent to 192.168.1.10/24. IPv6 unicast addresses. An IPv6 unicast addresses uniquely identifies an interface on an IPv6 enabled device. A packet sent to the unicast address is received by interface that is assigned that addresses. Similar to IPv4, a source IPv6 address must be a unicast address. The destination IPv6 address can be either unicast or a multicast address. Static configuration of a global unicast. Most IPv6 configuration and verification commands in the Cisco IOS are similar to their IPv4 counterparts. In many cases, the only difference is the use of IPv6 in any place of IP within the commands. Dynamic configuration or the SLAAC, stateless address auto-configuration, is a method that allows a device to obtain its prefix, prefix length, default gateway address, and the other information from an IPv6 router without the use of DHCP version 6 server. The dynamic link local address. So all IPv6 devices must have an IPv6 link, a local address. A link local address can be established dynamically or configured manually as a static link local address. Static link local address. Configuring the link local address manually provides the ability to create address that is recognizable and easier to remember. Typically, it is only necessary to create recognizable link local addresses on routers. This is beneficial because router link local addresses are used as default gateway addresses and routing advertisement messages. Verifying the IPv6 address configuration. So the shown interface command physical and the MAC address of the Ethernet interface. The trace route or the testing path. Ping is used to test connectivity between two hosts but does not provide information about the details of devices between the hosts. Trace router is a utility that generates a list of hops that were successfully reached along the path. So that's all for this chapter. So thank you for watching.